Let's summarise what we've learned about attacks so far. I mean, these are very important general guidelines. The first thing is that you must attack with everything you've got, if possible, and make sure every piece you're attacking with has something to do. A successful attack proceeds from A lead in development, or B, an advantage in space. It's illogical to assume that you can just demolish an opponent, take him apart with your bare hands, if these considerations don't apply. Which brings me to the idea of premature attacks, which, let's face it, occur quite often at lower levels of chess. A person might be impatient, they might be impulsive, they think they're just going to wipe their opponent out. Whatever position is on the board, well, good chess doesn't simply work in that way. And, you know, if you try to attack prematurely against a strong opponent, mark my words, you are going to be beaten back and taken apart. I can't put it any more bluntly or honestly than that. So make sure that certain considerations are in place before you think about attack. Now, to illustrate the idea of a premature attack, we're going to go to the Alushta tournament, which was played in Russia in 2004. And you'll see that even very strong players are tempted into launching premature attacks. Playing white is Sergei Kaligin. He's graded 2440, which puts him at strong international master standard. And playing black is Yuri Kuzubov, who I believe is a grandmaster. And, well, white sets the scene for an attacking game by playing the old-fashioned King's Gambit. I think this is a good way to play, but perhaps not in the manner that white handled it in this game. At any rate, this is the King's Gambit declined. It's a perfectly reasonable way for black to meet the aggressive f4. I have seen this happen in junior games, so please don't laugh. Black is setting a little trap. If f takes e5, queen h4 check wins straight away. Well, with no pieces developed and an open king, is that so surprising? So white normally plays knight f3 and black plays pawn up to d6. Once again, this move can be tactically justified with f takes e5, knight c5, and once again queen h4 check. One of the main points of this variation is that bishop on c5 is a little bit awkward for white vis-a-vis the white king. White would like nothing better in this variation than to bring his bishop out to c4, target f7, castle on the king side, and then go to work on the f file. Well, the bishop on c5 delays the whole process of white castling, which is why perhaps Kaligin plays c3 in this game. He's thinking about playing d4, shutting that bishop out of the game, and hopefully castling a little bit later on. Well, okay, for the time being we get normal moves by both players. There's nothing fancy about this. The bishop usually comes to c4 in the King's Gambit, and black is just developing his knights. Very logical. White plays pawn up to d3. Castles by black. Queen e2. Still white has a slight problem of what he's going to do with his king. Rook e8, and now white is tempted after this move into playing f5, which is not actually a very good move in this circumstance. Now let's go back and try and understand why he does this. Okay, it's always awkward in chess to have your queen on the same file as a lesser piece, notably in this case the rook. So white is thinking to himself, well, hang on a minute, maybe he's threatening to open up this file and then go d5, and my position is creaking in the centre. I don't want that to happen. Well, if you don't want that to happen, probably you should have played another variation. Because, you know, okay, one can see why he plays f5. He's trying to establish an advantage in space on the king's side, and then he's hoping to launch some sort of pawn storm with his moves g4 and h4 upcoming. But the problem for Kaligin is black is really on form in this game, and he strikes out with d5, and this move suddenly reveals f5 as premature. If white had time to establish all those ideas, and I'll be talking about time a little bit later on this particular DVD, if he had time to do all those pawn moves, then he would be in very good shape. But black does not give him this time. Instead, black moves in with superb ideas, starting with bishop takes f5, and completely takes the wind out of white's sails. Well, bishop takes f5 just more or less refutes white's whole idea. The main point of it, of course, is that after E takes f5, black is advancing with e4, and suddenly white's position is completely crushed because the rook's on the same file as the queen. What can he do, white? If he takes, we crash in with rook takes, and if we don't take, what are we going to do? Let's just drop back to e4. If we don't take, first of all, white's got with the knight, and black is simply threatening e takes d3, directly winning the queen. So let's just see this, knight h4. Now, if we just go back to d5, bishop b3, bishop takes f5, we shouldn't be too surprised by this. Black is ahead in development, his king is safe, and he's just been getting his pieces out nicely. He has a lead in development, so why is it logical to assume that white can launch an attack with f5? It's not. So f5 is overambitious and premature, and white is getting the treatment because of this premature advance. Well, he tried bishop g5, d takes e4, d takes e4, bishop takes e4, another excellent move. If white now plays bishop takes f6, black intends to play bishop takes f3, and when the smoke clears, black is going to emerge 2 pawns ahead. So going back to bishop takes e4, that's why white tries to continue the attacking impetus with queen to c4. He's now aiming at f7. It's not logical to assume this is going to work, and so queen d5 is a very good defensive idea, covering f7, threatening to exchange the queens, remembering that black is 2 pawns up. White goes queen a4, queen d3, and now the white king is really going to be for the high jump. The counter-attack has started, and, well, black's is imbued with a lot more force because his king is safe and white has no cover. Okay, knight e4, threatening mate in 1, bishop f2. White moves to cover that with bishop h4. b5, dragging the white queen further offside. Queen a6 only move, and now another superb move by black. Bang! Knight d4. Marvellous chess. Again, totally logical. If white takes with the knight, black plays e takes d4, opening up the rook against the king, completely crushing. If he takes with the pawn, bishop b4 check, again lands a fatal blow. So white can't take the knight, and he's been driven even further backwards with bishop d1. Well, then comes knight takes f3 check, and white has had quite enough of this position. I mean, he's getting completely demolished. It really is a hopeless position. I mean, white is threatened with queen e3 check, he's threatened with queen d2 check, his king is open, he hasn't moved his rooks yet. The white queen is ludicrously out of play. He decided to resign, and not a moment too soon. But that was a typical example of a premature attack being refuted by energetic play. If we just return to the fateful moment after f5, there was absolutely no justification for this move. Black is ahead in development. White should have been concentrating on really, I mean, actually we can trace his error back even one further move to queen e2. I mean, I think white has to try some move like b4 here, and somehow try and get this bishop off the diagonal, gain a bit of space, and somehow get his pieces out. Queen e2, putting the queen on the e file, was just a recipe for disaster. And you have to agree, black's refutation of this premature attack was elegant, energetic, and in the end very aesthetic. Terrific game that by Kozybov. Moral of the story, don't attack prematurely in chess against good players, otherwise you yourself will be in the hot seat.